Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your July Sun, Moon, and Stars reading for Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, and Gemini Moon. So now the Sun is the outward appearance. It's the manifestation of a situation, how the world sees it. You have the Page of Cups. Now, it could be that there's a water sign in focus. This could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female, or just the traits of this page. There is something being offered, an agreement, a proposal, an invitation, sentiment, a message of love, something emotional taking place. Perhaps you're offering your services, your feelings. Something is being put out there, or someone is extending something in some way for you. This is a beginning of something, the beginning of some feelings, and you may discover that your feelings are changing. For some of you, this may be a connection to a child or a younger person, or again, the early stages of some kind of emotional development. This may be a connection that is starting to strengthen in some way. The bonds are deepening. So, maybe this was a friendship and you're falling in love with this person, and it's turning into something more. Or you're reviving, rekindling your relationship. You're starting to see the better parts of your partner again. Remember why you came together in the first place, and you're falling in love all over again. And for some of you, this is just about getting out there, mixing and mingling. You want to meet new people. You want to socialize. You want to extend yourself in some way. Now, for some of you, this is an experience with regard to something emotional. Maybe you're very sensitive right now and you feel how someone else is feeling, or you understand maybe there are emotions that are expressed and not. You understand the emotional undercurrent of a situation, or words that are loaded, or things that are implied. Maybe you're trying to figure out which direction this thing is going to go. You're in the early stages. Maybe you're just starting to date, or just starting to connect, or something is just in the initial stages and you don't know what the final outcome is. And it could also be jumping into some kind of emotional commitment without really thinking about what the consequences are, especially if you've been love struck, or vice versa. So this is looking at what that level of commitment is. Now again, for some of you, this is a social invitation. You could be hearing some news. Maybe it's about a birth, or engagement, a marriage, a pregnancy. This is some kind of attraction. Maybe it's even like love at first sight. But for some of you, this ties to that inexperience in such a way where maybe somebody's being foolish with regard to their emotions. They could even be a turnoff. Maybe something is off, wrong. The chemistry's not there, or there's some jealousy, or maybe somebody's acting out, or the thinking is not what it should be. Maybe this is about offering a drink. Maybe there are issues connected to drinking. For some of you, your feelings are changing, and they're changing in ways where you're thinking that maybe a relationship needs to stop right here and now. It just doesn't need to go any further. Now, there are trust issues connected here. Maybe there's a need to trust what's on offer, or maybe you need to trust your emotions about extending yourself in some way. But trust is an issue, either getting support from others or offering it, believing in yourself, feeling protected, trusting your intuition, or recognizing a vulnerability, your own or someone else's. Now, the moon represents the inward manifestation. It's how this situation is making you feel, what effect it's having on you as a person. You have the King of Cups. So again, we've got a lot of emotions, water sign energy here. Now, for some of you, this represents perhaps a father figure, or your role as father. In fact, this could be a father and son. This could be a significant shift in your feelings. You may be recognizing how deeply you care for someone and you want to extend yourself or offer something, or you are evaluating what's been put on offer. There's deep desire here to impress someone. Maybe impress someone with what you're putting out there. This could be creative. Maybe you're an artist and you're putting something that you're producing out there. Maybe you're offering your services. This could be a doctor or a judge or a lawyer or a caretaker, a counselor, somebody who listens, who's of sound mind, they're in touch with their emotions, they give good advice. This is a supportive influence. So this is how you're feeling inside. So you may feel very protective of someone, or you may feel very protected. But there are intense desires here again to either impress, improve, preserve, defend, or destroy. And it's connected to desire. So again, a lot of desire. There's a temptation toward someone or something. And it may center on something sexual. Could be lust, could be seduction, could be love, could be a fantasy or some kind of unexpected encounter, or you're feeling as if your desires are thwarted in some way. Now, the star card, or the star placement, is the way you can make this situation work out for you. So this is a powerful two cards right here. You have the Ace of Swords. So this is about getting to the truth of something, getting some clarity, being fair, seeking justice. And it may be connected to forming some kind of agreement. For some of you, maybe this ties to surgery, or something on offer, an agreement, a proposal, or getting to the truth of your desires, what's on offer, how you feel, what's being extended. The Ace of Swords says that you can expect some stimulating conversation. And this King of Cups right now, you may be feeling like you want to listen, like you want to emotionally go there, or it could be that some manipulation is taking place because of these strong desires. Somebody is using emotion, maybe toying with someone else's, or maybe you're out of control as far as your own emotions. This is getting some clarity. It's putting some things out there, and in some cases, maybe in a confrontational manner that's emotional, and maybe that creates some kind of shift. Maybe it brings you closer or puts you further apart, and it could center on some trust issues or sexuality or desires. Maybe you feel cut off in some way, cut off emotionally. Maybe somebody's cut off their feelings. So you're changing the way that you communicate, hopefully for the better, by introducing or being introduced to new ideas, new concepts, new beliefs. You're looking at your relationship in a new and better way. Now, the problem with this card is that sometimes there's reticence. It's waiting for the other person to extend themselves. So maybe you have some strong desires, but you don't want to make that offer. You don't want to make the decision. You don't want to make the first move. But again, this is the card that says how you can make a situation work for you. So this is about putting it out there, recognizing what's at stake here, because there's the possibility of winning or losing more than you expect, especially if you're hesitant to clear the air, to let somebody know how you feel. Now, you may be getting to the truth of something where either you or someone else feels like there's been some misrepresentation. Someone hasn't told the truth. They've presented a false front. Maybe they were led to believe that there were certain feelings, or they were led to believe that there was more of a commitment. So it could be that there's an opportunity where you have this meeting of the minds, per se, where you get to find out where you stand, how the other person sees you, or vice versa. And it may have to do with the shadow part of yourself or another person. Again, this is about gaining some clarity. You're entering this new cycle, both of self-awareness and of others. And maybe you're trying to gain some personal empowerment. But you have to make sure that You're not operating out of fear. The truth is you may need to acknowledge your fear concerning trust, or how something will be received, or whether you're protected, or where you're vulnerable, or where there may be secrets or something hidden about yourself or a situation. So this is looking at the truth of where there's been some risky behavior, either on your part or others. Maybe the truth about stalking or manipulating, being in the shadows. So something secretive could be going on where you need to cut through the fog and get to the clarity, get to the truth. Now, the underlying energy is this Five of Pentacles. And so you may be dealing with issues where there's been some illness, some poverty, lack of faith, rejection, feeling left out in the cold. It could be, being morally bankrupt, a focus on the material above all else at the expense of the soul. So it's likely that a couple of things probably have not worked out the way you had anticipated, the way you had hoped. You may have experienced some recent setbacks or some challenges. These could be physically, emotionally, financially, whatever they are. Maybe, there's the recognition that, you've been left out or you've been rejected. Maybe you wanted to be in the spotlight or someone else did. Maybe the focus was on again, the material, the fame, the look at me. For some of you, there's a lack of faith in perhaps getting to the truth, your own self-expression. You're rejecting saying something, or you're rejecting what someone is telling you. You feel like you're not getting the attention or the recognition or the spotlight that you're due. Maybe there's some creative blocks, or you're lacking some confidence. It could be that one of you is just too self-absorbed, too oblivious, or somebody needs the floor. They need the attention. They need the light on them, which means that somebody else has to be left out in the cold. Now, you may discover, once you do a reassessment and get to the truth of a situation, that things are not as bad as they seem. You're not as far behind. You're not as bad off, or something isn't costing you as much as you thought. So there is help in this card. There's spiritual help. You need only ask. So whatever it is that you feel a sense of lack or loss means you probably need to turn inward and also connect to divine. Now, your advice card is acceptance, the waning crescent, or this is, waxing crescent. So acceptance. So let's look at acceptance and what that means. Acceptance of the current situation is the first step to change. The past does not exist. The future hasn't happened. There's only right now. I accept where I am and who I am right now. When we examine our lives and engage in some truth-telling, we are often confronted with what really is. This realization is powerful. But often we reject this truth if it is too hard to bear, or we are afraid of accepting something so difficult. Each of us at some time has dodged our blind spots and then had the illumination of what actually is eventually confront us. What we do next is crucial. Do we accept exactly where we are, no matter how painful or confronting? Or do we retreat back into our illusions and remain stuck or unchanging? Choosing to accept ourselves fully and the position we are in enables us to take that next step towards growth. When we can plant our feet solidly into the earth and say, yes, here is exactly where I am, and I accept this fully, then we can take the next steps confidently, honestly, and powerfully towards where we now wish to head. Accepting where we are right now in its fullness allows us to also accept that there may be some chaos in our change before there is full order again. This can be an exciting feeling rather than one that generates fear if we hold our intentions, our new intentions, clearly. So this sounds very much so about getting to the truth of perhaps the shadow part of yourself, your own fears, your own illusions, your own desires, what you would like to offer, what you would like to receive, and where trust can be an issue, where there's been a lack of faith. And maybe you need to shine a spotlight on some of those issues. All right, Gemini, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notify bell button, and leave me some comments.